We're going to go to the UGA Bulldogs.
Man.
They outlasted Clemson 10-3 in a straight-up defensive battle for the ages. So, man, with the major opening day win under their belts, can you trust Georgia to finally get the job done?
I will absolutely not trust Georgia to get the job done. Surely do not, because everybody out there, Dogs fans, everyone that watches Georgia sports, if you like the Dogs, there's a chance you like the Braves and the Falcons and all these other teams, the Hawks, right? So check it out. It's always the same thing with the Dogs. And there we go, Gary. It's always the same thing. You're going to come out and you're going to have a great defense. And we know that Georgia has had a great defense year in and year out and year in and year out. But they come with the quarterback and they coddle the quarterback. They don't get an elite quarterback out there. Look at JT Daniels. He looked devastated to throw down the field. All these Georgia quarterbacks, the guy threw down the field, what, 10 yards, more than 10 yards twice in the game? I mean, let's be real about this. You know, they have running backs all the time, uber talented, and they just run these guys into the ground. A Sony Michel, a Todd Gurley, a DeAndre Swift. Like, where the hell is DeAndre Swift right now in the NFL? That guy did a lot. Like, he was a big reason, him and Michelle, as to why the Dogs were able to get some recent success.
Blowing games in Detroit.
Exactly. Dropping passes as a rookie. And then you take a further look at the Dogs, and it's like these cookie-cutter quarterbacks, like, we can't even get a little bit of mobility, a little bit of a break of stature to create a play with your legs or work off script, because year in and year out, it's no surprise, rather, that they held Clemson at 3. Let's address the Clemson part first. LSU is ranked number 6 after they won the college football national championship, right? They were 5-5 last season, correct? They were not. They did not have a great record.
No, that's right. That was a record.
Exactly. You look at Clemson coming in at number 3 after losing in the runner-up college football playoff game. Everybody's in the draft. ETN is gone and hurt now. Lawrence is gone. Like, the defensive players are gone. The O-line is gone. So Georgia was supposed to beat this team. Like, they're both stripped of talent, but it's not a surprise because they're not elite. DJU was sacked 7 times. The O-line was bad. Like, it was a ugly showing. Okay, are we rah-rahing over a pick 6 right now and no offensive touchdowns? I mean, that's really what's getting to me is people are out here saying now at this point, is this potentially Kirby Smart's best Georgia team ever? Are you kidding me?
Really?
Are you kidding me? The best Georgia team Kirby Smart has ever had, without question, and people know this, is Jake Fromm. But let's look at some of the numbers, right? So people want to talk about this elite defense. Georgia, the last 4 years, 18th, 1st, 20th, and 4th in total defense for the year. But you look at their passing yards. They were 43rd in the country last year, 76th, 69th. You want to know what rank they were in the country when they went to the national championship?
Well, they were 52, I think.
106th.
Oh.
Double that and some fees.
Wow.
They don't pass the football. And we see this all the time in college football. You have teams that come out, big defenses, but where's the offense? And again, Georgia, they have a chance to go undefeated. There's no question about that. But are they going to beat Alabama? No. Are they going to shrink at the biggest moment? Yes. Do they have an elite quarterback? No. And I'll say this right now on record, Georgia will not reach success again until Kirby Smart is out of the building. He is stuck. It is stale play calling. And when you know how to stop the run with Georgia, they're not going to threaten you downfield. So I'm not impressed by this win. Congratulations on being the number 2 team now, Georgia, but let's be real. Like we just talked about, fees. Alabama is going to the national championship and winning it. Georgia will not be the champions. Absolutely not.
I mean, Georgia is notorious for being the most talented team in the country that never gets it done.
Exactly.
I mean, you brought in a quarterback from the Pac-12, mind you, because they figured they would get somebody who could pass. But if you actually look into what they did, they brought in JT Daniels, who was running the air raid offense at USC.
Exactly.
And got benched and transferred because he wasn't going to play. Like, Keaton Slovis is the starter there, and that's why JT Daniels is at Georgia.
Yep.
It's not because he was an elite quarterback. I hope you didn't think you got a great guy. He couldn't actually start at the school he was at.
Exactly.
Like, that's not one of those, Jalen got pushed out by Tua, or not a Baker Mayfield situation, or none of those guys who transferred.
Right.
He actually wasn't that good.
Right.
And now you think he's your savior, and you got the same problem.
Exactly.
You got another quarterback who can't throw and is scared to throw the ball down the field.
Exactly.
You have an elite front 4. I mean, they held Clemson to 2 yards rushing.
178 passing, too. Absolutely
2
locked them
yards
down.
rushing and 180 yards total for the game.
Yep.
And you won by a pick 6?
Yep.
Like, you easily could have lost that game with that stout a defensive performance. It took above and beyond for you to get the W.
Right.
It doesn't really speak volumes.
Right. This is not the best Georgia defense ever. This is not the best Georgia potential offense or Kirby Smart team ever. Like, let's throw that out the window. Again, look, we see it every year. Like, if you look at Georgia's schedule, they are about to play arguably their softest schedule in the last 5 seasons.
Oh, easily.
And they're probably going to go 10-0, 11-0, right? But when they meet their match
they'll
in
lose
the
to somebody they shouldn't lose to.
Exactly. They'll potentially get caught in a trap game, get exposed like crazy, and be clawing back from like the 7 spot, hoping for some wing and a prayer team to lose that's in the top 4 so they can slip into 4.
This year?
No, they don't. Georgia absolutely has no major competition on the schedule. You have Florida, got cleaned out. Auburn, go figure. Yeah, South Carolina likes to give Georgia a run for their money, and we saw, Jake Fromm throw a pick a couple seasons ago and lose that one.
Just a couple of years ago, they lost to him.
Exactly. There's trap games like that. So I'm not impressed by the Dogs. I don't trust them because at the end of the day, when you want to talk about your team truly being set up for success, you have to feel confident facing the best team in the game. That is the Alabama Crimson Tide.
A defensive performance.
And Nick Saban, and that's not going to happen. Georgia's not going that far this year. I'm sorry, fans, but they're not.
No. I mean, like, what I know you parallel Georgia fans to being like they generally like all the Atlanta teams. I've actually noticed that there are a crazy amount of Georgia fans that are also Cowboy fans. What? Same people.
It's the same damn toxicity.
Same people.
It's the same toxicity.
Haven't won in decades. Always have the talent. Never get it done.
Exactly. When Georgia went to the national title game, that was their chance to win. They even changed quarterbacks on you. You still had the chance to win. The next year, you're in the SEC title game. They do it again. You lose. The next year, you're in the SEC title game. You lose again. The next season, you're in against LSU. You lose again. There's no more time left for the Dogs. There's not. Until Kirby Smart is not the coach. Sorry, I'm going Mark Richt on him now. Until he is not for the Bulldogs, I'm sorry. He is not going to lead them. It's just like Jerry Jones with the Cowboys. Until Jerry is not at the helm, the Cowboys will not go anywhere. So I'm actually really happy that you brought that up.
Yeah.
The Dogs are fool's gold. Don't eat the cheese, fans. They're not going anywhere. Don't put any money on Georgia, please. Not right now. Not right now.
They're the same fans, and Georgia and the Falcons keep picking the same coach.
Exactly.
Mark Richt, Kirby Smart, Mike Smith, Dan Quinn.
And you just want to run Justin Fields out of town. That that is so embarrassing because Justin Fields is going to be a top player in the NFL within the next half decade, and every Georgia fan is just going to have to sit and weep and bitch and moan, and it is all Kirby's fault. All Kirby's fault.
Oh, they are. So, I mean, before we get the 8-4 Kobe break, will Clemson be able to rebound from this loss to actually make it back into the playoff?
I think because of the really soft schedule, again, yeah, but, I mean, you look, DJU was really overhyped, and yes, he did go against a great Georgia defense at this point, but still, I mean, he was not effective at all. First game of the season, you've got Clemson coming out here, getting cleaned out by the draft, so it's going to be a journey. It's going to be a process for Clemson to get back to the top. At this point, I really don't know if I trust them over in Ohio State and definitely not over in Alabama right now. I mean, it's so up in the air, but it's like I said, it's the Tide and everybody else. So even if we're talking about Clemson making a run, Alabama's winning it all this year. I mean, it's solidified.
Oh, not even about them actually winning a title, just even making a playoff is kind of slim because of the rest of their schedule. They don't play anybody.
Yep.
They got South Carolina State next. Then they get Georgia Tech, North Carolina State, Boston College, Syracuse, Pitt. Please stop me when we name a real football team.
Pitt with Margaret.
Florida State. They might lose to Florida State.
Right.
Louisville, UConn, Wake Forest. Is this basketball?
Right.
This ain't the damn Sweet 16. Like, what are we talking about?
Right.
South
I don't know.
Carolina.
I feel a trap game at the back end of that schedule. Those last 3-4 you just named, I feel a little bit of a trap game in there just for a Clemson team.
But they don't have Virginia Tech. They don't have Miami. They don't have North Carolina. They don't play Notre Dame this year. Mm-hmm. Their schedule's so weak that they might not make the playoff. They're going to need somebody to lose.
Right.
They're going to need Georgia to blow a game. They're going to need Ohio State to blow a game.
Which they could.
They'll need Oklahoma to blow a game. And they'll need potentially whoever comes out of the Pac-12 to not be undefeated.
Yep.
I mean, if Oregon goes undefeated, if UCLA goes undefeated, if SC goes undefeated, any of those teams are going to go in over Clemson because they lost to Georgia and their schedule is just god-awful, terribly weak.
Yep.